Hi, I'm Tom Willits, the Executive Director of Music and Poetry Synchronized, also known as MAPS. And just want to welcome you tonight to this virtual concert that is bringing Bulkeley High School in Hartford, Connecticut together with Northampton High School in Northampton, Massachusetts. And we're going to be presenting the students' work in poetry, art, and in music that's taken place over this year. Certainly, it's been a different year. It's been an exciting year. It's been a challenging year. And we've done our best to try and bring all the students together multiple times online. Normally, we would be bringing them together in person, and of course, that couldn't happen. But we're very proud of what they've done and how hard they've worked, and certainly being led by our teachers who have just had an extraordinary year of adjustment and trying to be flexible and make things work. So we're just so pleased with the wonderful result that's come about. So what I want to do is turn the mic, so to speak, over to our teachers, and they can speak more specifically about this year's program and the challenges around bringing poetry, art, and music together at the two schools. So thank you again for coming. Thank you to our funders. Thank you to certainly all the staff and the administration that makes this possible. So have fun.
Hi, my name is Paul Kinsman. I'm one of the music teachers at Northampton High School. This year, our students in the music technology and sound recording class participated in the MAPS collaboration with Bulkeley High School, and it was a really successful collaboration. In this year, which is all about reinventing the wheel and trying things differently despite unideal circumstances, the MAPS project was really able to thrive, pairing the Bulkeley High School poems with our music technology, which is already on a digital platform. We were able to create some really nice pieces of artwork while still keeping alive and well in the class themes of social justice and collaboration. Thank you so much, MAPS, for allowing us to participate in this collaboration, and very much looking forward to future collaborations as well.
Good evening, all, and thank you for being here. My name is Mitch Mangan, and I am the music teacher here at Bulkeley High School. Being a part of MAPS this year was honestly one of the best things I feel like I could have done for my students. In a normal year, I would be mostly teaching band, but given the fact that we have in-person students as well as remote learners all at the same time, finding ways to get creative and just collaborate with others was kind of challenging. But honestly, my students that were involved with this came up with some really authentic and original poetry, and the Northampton students came up with some really outstanding music to accompany that. I think this experience was an extremely positive one for all parties involved, and I'm so incredibly proud of them. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello, my name is Laura Gray, and I'm the Connecticut coordinator for MAPS. I was lucky enough to teach a middle school level MAPS class last year, and this year I've been fortunate enough to help facilitate our two new programs here in Hartford. This year has been one for the record books. We've had different hurdles than ever before, and we've made changes along the way to accommodate the needs of our students. The biggest hurdle here in Hartford has been working around our different learning models. Some students are learning in person and some are at home. Our students are not in the same class together, and they're not all learning the same way. Luckily, we've had some digital platforms that have really helped us overcome these challenges, and we've leveraged these tools to create something really special for you. Our Bulkeley and Northampton students have done a great job. I'm so proud of all their efforts. We hope you enjoy.
In the middle of March, I was planning something for my birthday, March 27. I was really enjoying going to school. I get to see my friends and my favorite teachers. I was in a building near my house. I'd even have to get up early in the morning to get all the way over to another school. I was happy, turning 17, enjoying the fresh air and all. Then my teachers and the news was saying there's a dangerous virus, that we need to stay home, and if we go out, we need to wear a mask. It was shambles. People were going crazy for toilet paper. People acted like they needed to get clean every inch, like they never were clean before. like there wasn't the flu virus before either. It was too much. I was stressed. I lost hope for school, for my goals, for my future. I didn't like that, so I sucked up whatever energy I had left, and I said I need to get this done now. No questions asked. It was hard. Being in school that made you feel like you were there to learn. That was I was brought up with. School was a place to learn, and home is a place to play or relax. Now I'm home learning, staring at a computer screen, causing pain to my eyes, mind, body, and school spirit. I was struggling, and then summer hit, and I had to go to summer school for 2 classes because of 2 to 5 points. I was angry, I was frustrated and losing my mind, but I had to pull it together because I didn't want to stay back and graduate on time with my friends. It was hard, but I passed 1 class. And it's not easy when teachers lose hope and motivation too. Teachers do have an effect on students whether they know it or not. If a teacher doesn't feel like helping or teaching students or having a positive energy, we will feed off that and feel the same way. And no, I'm not saying it's all on the teachers. But when a teacher says, I don't need this, I already got my degree, that doesn't help. If you want to teach, do it because you love helping kids grow and achieve goals, whether it's them being first in their family or not. Teachers don't get that much money anyway, so I know that's not the reason. To be honest, I really don't know why half of these teachers want to teach. It's not for passion or love, then what's it for? To make students struggle, make other kids miserable? I just don't understand why. Yes, it's also up to the students to contribute, but most of the stuff we are forced to learn, we will not need in the real world. Why can't we learn about things that is important, like taxes, life skills, how things work in the real world? Now, what's the square root of 17? Yes, we need to learn math, history, reading, and writing, but all this other stuff, back to COVID. We have to play sports wearing a mask. That's alone should say enough. It's hard breathing with that on our faces, running up and down the court or field. That's hard. Not to mention that some masks hurt the back of your ears. You can't recognize friends or family members. Yes, we are staying safe and not spreading the virus even more. But the way people are acting is really crazy. Nobody is perfect. I know that. I'm not saying people can't be worried, concerned, or anything like that. Just don't overdo it. COVID took that feeling that I miss. If you're in your school, then you're there to learn. Now there's Wi-Fi and laptops that we can use to easily distract us. Yes, using laptops save the trees, but it doesn't give you the same feeling. I miss that feeling. Regular school is nothing like it is now. It's more stressful, less happy, more work. Teachers forget we have other work to do, like work so we can have money for college and provide for ourselves and to care about our well-being. The point is, some of us students are struggling with no support because of COVID. We all lost our school spirit. I want it back.
So, the MAPS collaboration is a collaboration between poets and musicians. The poets composed poems and the musicians composed music to go with those poems. So August and I, both 11th graders, worked on a poem called Emotions I Can Show Them. Its creator was a high schooler from another school who was named Denasia Lynn. The poem was about how the author felt about emotions and about their parents' relationship, which was rather rocky. And it seems like the parents were going to get divorced soon. Here are some lines about the author's feelings towards their parents' relationship. I've always known my parents weren't going to get together, but seeing other kids at school talk about how their parents are still married made me think. But I knew it would never work. I had to be okay with it. And that's it for the introduction. I'll now interview one of the creators of the music that went along with the poem. Hi, what's your name, and what was your impression of a poem you were assigned?
Hi, my name is August, and my impression of the poem, it's got this melancholy tone to it, kind of resigned.
What did you add to the project?
So, for my contributions to the project, I believe I added the piano and the drums, as well as 3 of the not really reoccurring sound effects. There's one of like crushing ice, there's one of like birds and wind chimes, and then a blow dryer.
What about the final product surprised you?
For me, it was kind of surprising how well certain things worked off of each other, like how well the book closing sound effect kind of complemented the different, like the way it was implemented really complemented the other instruments, and it was just kind of surprising for me to, yeah, as I said, I guess, how well everything went together.
I grew up not showing emotions. I always thought they made you soft, vulnerable, weak. This was because nobody really showed emotions in my house. I know what love is, I just didn't see it in a way others seen it. Growing up in a broken home that was never together is rough. Parents were never together, didn't even speak to each other, not even at the court. They acted like they hated each other with a passion. They didn't though, they just had nothing to say to each other. There was too much hurt and too much things that was said before I was born. I always known my parents weren't going to get together, but seeing other kids at school talk about how their parents are still married made me think, but I knew it would never work. I had to be okay with that. I know they won't. I don't want them to. I just thought about it when I was little. The way I was brought up, looking back on it now, I realized they didn't show that lovey-dovey stuff that people do on TV. Their love was, I brought you to life. That's love. I raised you. That's love. You have roof over your head, clothes on your back, food on the table. That's love. No, it's not. Love is saying it. Love is showing it by telling the person how much they make you happy, how much you miss them when they're gone for 2 days. When you see something, it reminds you of them and so much more. What they were doing was their responsibilities as parents. Yes, you said I love you on birthdays and holidays, but that's it. They didn't wake up and say it out of the blue. That made me the person I am today. Hopefully, when I have a family in the future, I will be able to do everything my parents didn't do. Show love and affection, and letting them be them. No comparing, no favoritism, and always being with them even when I'm gone. I never understood that normal love. I feel out of the comfort zone talking about how much I love someone or expressing feelings besides anger and frustration. Those two I know and can do with no problem. Feeling cringy or out of place, it's not me. It's like I can't be human. I'm a robot that shows anger more than anything around others. Yeah, I have breakdowns, but I don't like crying in front of people. But I can't help it sometimes. I cry when I'm mad and I can't fight the person or disrespect them. I cry when I'm alone, thinking about how life really doesn't care who it leaves behind. I cry when I miss my mom. I cry when I realize life went wrong. I cry when I've made a mistake and can't go back and redo it. I cry when I feel like I haven't cried in a while. I cry when I'm stressed. I cry when I'm overwhelmed with everything. I cry when I hear a really sad song. I cry when I want everything to stop. I cry when I feel like I want it to end it all, but I can't because I have goals. I've been trying more day by day, step by step, getting out of my comfort zone and doing more, expressing the love inside of me. I'm not saying I've never showed it. I'm not saying I never said I love you without feeling weird. And I mean it. I'm a very loving person, I just don't show it at first. I'm aggressive, outgoing, strong-minded, and I don't hold back what's on my mind. But once you get through that level, and I know I can be myself around you without being betrayed. I'm a friend you want to keep. We will laugh like crazy, enjoy our time together. It's never been a dull time when the love is genuine, and both ways 50-50. I realize showing emotion isn't weak. It's being human. It's natural. It's not cringy. It's not crying out for help. It's not wanting attention. It's not weird. It's normal.
MAPS, or Music and Poetry Synchronized, is an organization that plans collaboration between two schools, where one writes poems and the other composes music from those poems. We at Northampton High School worked with students from Hartford, Connecticut. Working on this project are Alexander Bither, a sophomore, Jamie Payne, a freshman, and me, Joe Kennick, a junior. The poem we based our music on was Emotions, I Can Show Them, by Denasia Lynn. It is about emotions of living in a broken home. And now here's the first stanza of Emotions, I Can Show Them. I grew up not showing emotions. I always thought they made you soft, vulnerable, weak. This is because nobody really showed emotions in my house. I know what love is, I just didn't see it the way others seen it. What is your name and what was your impression of the poem that you were assigned?
I'm Alex Byther, and I thought the poem was kind of a description of somebody who grows up in a place where they're not really allowed to express emotions or, as the title suggests, show them. And I think that it was kind of a piece of almost frustration about why they never grew up to do that.
Hi, this is Jamie Payne. I feel like the poem was showing how sometimes people don't come together when you may want them to, which makes the poem sad, but it also has a feeling of accepting things and moving forward from them and how that can make you stronger.
What did you add to the project?
I added a few things. I added the guitar riffs, kind of the subtle ones with delay in the back.
I added the main piano part that goes through almost the whole song. It started as a very simple part that was out of time and just didn't sound right. But then, with some edits and effects, we managed to get it to sound really nice.
I also added this really cool lighter flick that I threw some delay on. It doesn't have much impact to the story of the poem, but I thought it sounded interesting and it adds an extra texture to the song.
I also came up with some of the synths that you hear kind of gradually rise throughout it. It's just kind of creating more of an atmosphere. And I also worked on a few of the instruments that were just kind of enriching it.
I also really liked how we added these drums that were very filtered and kind of crazy. But then at one point in the song, we brought in this kick, and I think that really brought it all together. So it started with these crazy drums. And then came in the kick.
What about the final product surprised you?
It kind of surprised me how well it got put together, because there was so many different parts and so many different ideas, and it just all came together pretty seamlessly. We didn't really have to mangle with it. It just kind of clicked.
I would say what surprised me was how all the parts really came together in the end, from being lots of individual pieces to being one piece. We really all put in lots of work and managed to make a full song from pretty much just like a couple parts.
I get it. It's something you're not used to. It comes in different colors, but why? Are you that childish that you can't let people live their lives? My skin color won't kill you. You're scared of a color? How? Why? What sense does that make? Just because your ancestors didn't like black people, people of color, doesn't mean you have to just because your neighbors, friends, or other people didn't like black people. Does not mean you have to hop on a trend of hating people of color. Don't see us having a group hating on white people like the KKK hated us on. Don't see that just because we are just trying to live our lives, not fair if your children are going to make it home without being shot, tased, tear gassed, dead, or in a hospital. We just want to live, to breathe. It's not worrying for our loved ones to be free. How do you feel if it was a group of people bashing you? How do you feel if you had a fear of your lifetime you get pulled over? How do you feel if your child had to fear of their life whenever they get pulled over? How do you feel if your child was trying to get into the house and a cop stopped him because he looked suspicious? How do you feel being a person of color? How do you feel if we did what they do to us to you? Because color is not bad. It's not dangerous. Well, it is in the USA. Because people are out there trying to kill us. Not cool, because color is beautiful. It's something people are proud of. We shouldn't be scared of it. We should be able to live, love, and laugh. But we can't, because others don't want us to be sad. Holding a cell phone is a gun. Holding a hairbrush is a gun. Following directions but also asking questions is resisting. Pulling for an ID or license when you told them to is you thinking you're reaching for a gun. Asking questions is resisting. Chilling on their property and having a good time with family is what exactly? I can't sit on my porch with my family minding our business. What was the reason for stopping them from doing that? There are so many questions that need to be answered, so many things that could have been prevented, so many unknown reasons, so much more important things in this world, but yet people hate a color instead. Wow.
In this collaboration, myself and other members of our music technology and sound recording class created a musical piece to accompany a student's written poem about a matter that they deemed important and significant to them. Those who worked in the group for this project were Stone Cornelius, a senior, Henry Bain, a junior, and myself, Soren Fisher, a junior. The poem in which we were assigned was written by Denasia Lynn, called How Do You Hate a Color? It jumps right to the point of questioning racial prejudice, hostility, and the irrationality of it. The poem very clearly targets a white American audience and forces reflection on the history of oppression and discrimination toward American people of color, particularly those who are black.
What's your name, and what was your impression of the poem that you were assigned?
Yeah, so my name's Stone Cornelius, and we were assigned How Do You Hate a Color? And my initial impression of it was that the writer was putting a lot of thought into some things that they seriously wanted to change, and was kind of, expressing that pretty adamantly. It's a very passionate poem. You can tell the writer cares a lot about this. So, when we were trying to come up with what to do for a song to reflect that, we kind of wanted to find a way to accurately represent some of those feelings in the poem.
All right. What did you add to the project?
Yeah, so the main things I did were I played the drums and then added the drum track, and I wrote some of the chord progressions. That's about what I did.
All right. And what about the final project surprised you?
I think that, one of the things that I was going for in this project was to try to get it to sound somewhat similar to some things that I've heard Robert Glasper do, because I really like a lot of his music, and I feel like he has addressed this type of, he's addressed racial inequality with his music before, and I think that I was kind of surprised with how much like a Robert Glasper song we got parts of it to sound like, or I did, and that was a pleasant surprise. So yeah, I think it came out pretty well.
All right, thank you. All right, what's your name and what was your impression of the poem that you were assigned?
My name is Henry Bain. The poem that I was assigned, it was very heavy, and it seemed to be like questioning a lot of things.
All right. What did you yourself add to the project for the poem?
I added risers. Did I add sub bass? I can't remember.
All right. And what about the final project surprised you?
I guess like how well it turned out with the Martin Luther King Jr. speech. It really does fit with the poem.
I know you love me. I love you. I'm sorry for not choosing you. Can you forgive me? I'm sorry for the hurt I've caused you. I'm sorry for choosing them over you. You carried us for 9 months in your stomach. We were always together for 2 years. And I didn't choose you. I miss you. You made sure we had a bed to sleep on before yourself. You made sure we ate before you. You would rather starve so you could feed us. You put us before yourself. You fought for me in court and I let you down. I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I know now that it was a mistake. I regret it deeply. Can you forgive me? You have dealt with a lot of losses, losing 2 kids due to miscarriage, my twin due to a shooting. JJ would have called me out for what I did to you. Deadbeat dads trying to bring you down. People trying to tell you you're not my mentally stable for us, but you are. And yet I didn't choose you. People doubting you, people hating on you, people not respecting you, wishing the worst, but yet you're still here. You made me stronger, seeing you go through all that pain, but still able to care and take care of us. You have a big heart, and I take you for granted, never again. I know me saying I'm sorry doesn't help, it doesn't make up for that pain. Whatever it takes to let you know what I love you with all my heart. I can't go through another year without you. Another month, another day, another hour, another minute, another second. Without you knowing that I love you, I miss you deeply. I regret not choosing you. Yes, we don't see eye to eye. Yes, we argue. But that means nothing. Because everybody has their arguments, nobody is perfect. But you have done so much. Shown so much courage, so much love, so much ambition. You have done so much, too much to lose. I've let you down way too many times. That stops now. You are a strong black woman. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You are brave. You are awesome. You are bold. You are caring. You are my everything. You are the reason I am here today. You are the only one I want by my side. You are my mother, my inspiration, my right hand. I'm your twin. But I let you down deeply. I can't even forgive myself for the hurt I've caused you. I can't sleep at nights knowing what I did to you. I didn't eat for 2 weeks because I missed you.
And what did I do when I saw you? Hurt you. That's so painful for me to say. I know I did you wrong, but never again. I didn't grow up expressing my feelings. That was because I wasn't with you. Emotions to me seems like it's too much. To me, it seems like you're a weak person, but it's not. I hate crying in front of people. I don't want people to know I'm weak. You kind of had something to do with that. I never saw you cry, but I heard it. Just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not there. I now know what emotions really are, and it's not you showing your weakness. It's you being human with a heart and feeling. It's normal and something you shouldn't be ashamed of. You're not a bad mother. No matter how much people try to say you are, you're not a bad person. You have a huge heart, that Pisces heart I love so much. Too big for a heart for people to handle. You are not ugly, inside and out. You have a beautiful soul, you are my beautiful. Please forgive me, Mommy. I miss you. I love you. I will never do it again. I now know what love is. Because of you, forever and always, your oldest daughter.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today I'm joined by a wonderful group who participated in a great project called MAPS, which is a collaboration between two different schools to write poetry and make music that go along with each other. And it's really a beautiful project, and they did great work. The group I'm joined by today consists of Coltrane Power Green, Caleb Smith, and Julian Scaron, and I'm joined by Coltrane and Caleb tonight. The poem that they worked on is entitled I Miss You, Mommy, by an author who chose to remain anonymous throughout the whole collaboration. It is a lengthy and heart-wrenching poem about a child living with the regrets from choosing foster care over their birth mother. So my question is, what were your first impressions upon reading such a heart-wrenching poem, and where'd you go from there?
My first impression was, I don't even know. It was a very sad poem. So I guess my first impression was just kind of, how would I make this into a song? Because it's a very sort of in its own world poem. And I didn't really know how I would implement that into song form. And I also didn't know if they would record lines for us and then implement those. So I was sort of like, what am I going to do with this?
Thank you, Coltrane, for that great answer. And now I'm going to move over to Caleb Smith here. What's up, Caleb?
Hey, guys. What's going on? I'm Caleb.
All right. So I just want to know, what did you bring to the project?
Well, I added the mandolin parts, which I tried to kind of create an atmosphere using them without having a lot of a tempo, which is actually a problem that we ran into because we kind of built the song off of the mandolin parts. So that and the mandolin parts I didn't record to a certain BPM, beats per minute. So that's kind of a wall that we ran into because it it's hard to make like a drum part to a something that's fluctuating and how fast it's going. So I think so we kind of built the song off of it, but it was mostly also a roadblock.
All right, thank you for that great answer. And so the last question I want to ask is actually for the both of you. I'm just curious, what about the final product surprised you guys? You worked really hard, long project on this. What was the best and worst of the end product?
That's a great question. So I think, one of the highs and the lows was, how powerful and the limitations of the program that we used, which is Soundtrap, which runs off of a website. And, we were able to record things really well onto it and mix it really well. But there are some limitations with, something like something that like Coltrane ran into, which was reverb. I don't know, Coltrane, you want to talk about that?
My main problem was I
The main audio like fields that I work in are generally more ambient. So I like, and so creating an ambient atmosphere is really important to me. And in Soundtrap, that's like, to be honest, almost impossible. The reverb doesn't work at all. And so it was kind of tough to be able to figure out how to make an atmosphere without reverb, which is arguably one of the most important plugins. I would say, like, behind EQ and compressors, obviously. Reverb is very important. So, yeah, that was kind of disappointing for me while making this project, but yeah, that was a personal low for me. I just found the program frustrating to work in, but
and like I said before in the previous question, tempo was also a problem that we ran into, where in the beginning we tried to work around this fluctuating recording, but in the end we kind of reverse engineered it and figured it out. So that was something we had to work around.
Yeah, we had to re-record that mandolin part, I believe, twice? Was it twice?
Yeah, it was twice.
Yeah, because I was like, it's off tempo, we may as well like re-record this so that we can get a good tempo and like have it consistent.
Yeah. And I guess that was a surprising thing, I guess, for me, was that, even though we kind of ran into these roadblocks, we did, come out with a pretty full and well-produced, I think, song. So, yeah.
Pandemic. Weird, isn't it? A word that changed the world in just one day. One day everything was okay. The next day everyone was afraid. That stone cold feeling that never leaves you, and it even follows you into your dreams, and into a deep dark hole you think you're falling.
Many people said that the end of the world was coming. To be honest, I think it's taking too long. It feels more like torture than the end of the world. Seeing your friends, family, neighbors, anybody you've seen even once in your life disappear, die, gone. Whatever you want to call it. You might not see it, but everyone is dying physically, mentally, internally, and spiritually.
We feel like we can't do anything about it, but that's not true. We can do a lot more than what we're doing. We can control this and we will defeat it. It's an invisible enemy, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It is destroying everything that is in its way. And with every step, we can feel life's betrayal. But I know, trust me, I know it feels like there's no exist. Pretend that nothing's happening. As one wise man once said, faith is taking the first step, even when you can't see the whole staircase.
or is anybody you've seen even once
One
in
day
your
everything
life
was okay.
disappear, die, gone, whatever you want to call it?
The next day, everyone was afraid.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I worked on the Pandemic Maps song with Merrick and Chris. The Maps collaboration is basically when we take poems written by people from another school. In this case, that school was in Hartford, Connecticut, and we soundtrack them and write music that goes along with the subject matter expressed. Like I said, I worked on this project with Merrick Ravel and Chris Jameson. Merrick's in the 10th grade and Chris is in 11th grade. And we were assigned the poem Pandemic by Paula Garcia. It's about the COVID-19 pandemic that's been going on for over a year in America, and this is an excerpt from it.
Many people said that the end of the world was coming. To be honest, I think it's taking too long. It feels more like torture than the end of the world.
Well, my first impressions of the poem were very... they conjured up images of mental anguish and helplessness, which was mostly in the first two stanzas. And I was kind of imagining a dark, atmospheric mood. And then the third and fourth stanzas come in, and they bring a sense of hope with them. So I was imagining a pretty big shift in mood at that point.
My first impression of the poem was that it was really personal for most people I heard who had heard the poem, just because we're all living through the COVID-19 pandemic and that's what it was all about. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so one of the first things I added were these voices. It was basically me humming a note and then pitching it up and down to match the chords that you wrote. And I thought it did add a lot of atmosphere to the project. And as for the other stuff I did, it was mostly fine-tuning the song just to give it the mood that I was aiming for, and adding these little motifs in the violin. And I also did some counterpoint in the third section.
So most of what I added was ideas. I added a few tracks. I think I might have added the drone on the organ in the beginning. That's pretty easy to hear, and I'll play it now. Yeah, and then I just added little edits here and there to make it sound a bit better. And I added vocals for the third stanza.
Well, yeah, I was kind of surprised at how separate each section felt in our song. It really like put some contrast between the stanzas. And I was surprised by that, and I thought it was kind of cool that we ended up making a song that, just like the poem, had its own 3 or 4 stanzas in it.
Well, I was surprised by the final project because it still sounded cohesive, even though each stanza was kind of its own thing. Because working on it, we kind of completely shifted the tone when we were doing each stanza. So I was shocked how well it worked with itself.
There's so much going on in the world right now, and it has been happening for a long time. The period of youth has been quite misunderstood in everyone's mind. Being a youth means to go to school, learn how everything works, finish school, and get a job once you're an adult. But the period of youth is something more special. There is so much every single youth is capable of. This is when you have the energy and excitement of learning something new you want to accomplish in the future. Being a youth means there's so much you can do outside of school to involve yourself and build your community. This goes into another topic, humanity. What does humanity mean to you? As a youth, you deserve to be educated about the world, but also about humanity. When I say humanity, I mean humanity as a whole, which means humanity united as one. This is a really huge topic because if you look at history, youths have been made a major part of it. And if you go around thinking you can't change something that you know is not right, you're wrong. Let me tell you why. Youths have the ability to grow and learn. Whatever youth learns when they're young will define them when they're older. This means whatever background and influences a person goes through while they're young will change how they are as a person in the future. This makes it hard for the world to change because if you're an adult, it is very hard for you to change what you're accustomed to. Now let's go back to youth. The period of youth also underlines the saying, you only live once. This saying can be used wrongfully to describe youth as reckless. But it's because youth are still young. Youth needs the proper education and a better understanding of their own selves. To hear something like this as an adult, you should already know the deeper meaning of it. But to hear it as a child growing up could impact the way you think of life. Youth has always been described as the future of humanity because they bring the new generations into the world. But have a generation that has no aspirations for the future could be bad and a dire to humanity.
Alright, so a few months ago, we were assigned our MAPS project that we were going to be working on, and we were assigned Youth by Kudrat Ilunga, and we all thought it was a really cool poem, and we were really hyped to make a song to sort of accompany that. So working on this project with me was Jack Stein and Liam Shugru, and I think we made something pretty cool.
Hi, I'm Liam Shugru. My main contribution was adding a bass line and a guitar part that I recorded using an interface.
So Liam was fitting this all around a rhythm part that I had made a few days earlier, and yeah, so he fit the bass line and then later the guitar part around this main rhythm line. And I like to build the beat around the rhythm and bass parts, so I wait till those are done first. And yeah, so once we had the rhythm and bass laid down, we all started collectively working on the beat. It was a little sloppy at first, it took some time, but at the end we got it pretty tight. And then after that it was just a matter of Jack adding some extra synth parts in there, and we also added an extra bass. And basically we just filled it out. Jack filled it out a lot.
My name's Jack Stein. Well, for starters, I made the original drum line, but then Patty kind of not scrapped the whole thing, but he changed it a bit, and overall, I just kind of focused on making sure it sounds clean and just better by adding some background synths.
Okay, so after Jack added all that and Liam added the lead guitar part, we were pretty much done. And we just added some finishing touches, and that was it. We thought the subject matter of this poem was super important. The voice that the youth has, and just overall, like, how important the youth is to their respective communities. And just anything else that Kudrat said in this. We tried to think about that as we were writing.
It was a cool poem. It was a really cool concept, and it was a really uplifting poem, and we tried our hardest to make music like that.
It surprised me how well it came together in the end, because we had a pretty scattered production process, but by the end it actually came together pretty well. It sounded pretty good. Everyone played their part well.